My name is Art Worrell. I'm Dean of Students at North Stars High School in Newark, and myself and my peers just wanted to share a few thoughts about some of the themes this weekend. Build landmarks. It's been the theme of this weekend, to build lasting landmarks. We do it every day in our interactions with teachers, students, and families. We are building powerful landmarks in the underserved communities of Boston, Rochester, Troy, Brooklyn, and Newark. Communities where dreams have been deferred for too long due to low expectations, inefficient bureaucracy, and racism. When I think about building powerful landmarks in the communities that we serve, I can't help but to think about the road I travel every morning and every evening on my way to and from work at North Star. You see, due to the tireless work of so many people, some of which are in this room right now, we're currently erecting a new state-of-the-art high school building in the heart of downtown Newark. The building will be ready for our students in the fall of 2011. It's what our students need, but more importantly, it's what our students deserve. Every morning, I pass the construction site where the foundations of this structure are being laid. Mike Mann and I once observed that it really just seems like the construction workers are moving one pile of dirt from one spot to another while chain smoking. But I've been assured that everything is right on schedule. In any event, as I look at the location of what will be a new landmark in the city of Newark, I can't help but to think about the irony of this scene. Between the boarded-up factories and the mammoth Prudential offices will stand a monument of academic achievement, while just a few blocks away lay the ruins of the James Street housing project. These housing projects serve as a different type of landmark in Newark. This housing development, like most in America, was built in the 1950s to provide affordable housing for middle-class and low-income communities. Instead, due to a lack of maintenance, poor public policy, many housing projects like this one became a center of poverty, drug abuse, and violence. Many of my students at North Star at some point in their lives lived in this very housing project. These projects have been mostly boarded up and abandoned now. They serve now as a reminder of the legacy of social injustice, segregation, and poverty that Newark is still fighting to overcome. This dichotomy is symbolic of what our schools mean to the communities that we serve. The burial of poverty, despair, and the resurrection of knowledge, hope, opportunity are real in Newark, in Brooklyn, in Troy, in Rochester, and in Boston. It's real wherever individuals trust that high expectations, hard work, and personal character are the keys that open the doors to opportunity and success. Our schools and our students represent that dream deferred that so many families had when they migrated to cities like Newark. So whether it's a new multi-million-dollar building or a shared space in the bottom floor of an old district school building, the foundations of these new landmarks of academic success are the same. They were not laid with bricks and mortar. Instead, these foundations were laid every time you correct a student's posture in class or demand that 100% of your students have their hands in the air and not settling for 90. Every time you give difficult feedback to a teacher about a lesson plan or a class. Every time you sit down with a family and promise them that if they commit to your school and the expectations that you set for their child, that child will be successful, they will go to college. It is my hope that with the landmarks of success that we build, we will continue to realize those dreams deferred in the communities that we serve. Now I'd like to introduce Shay Blanks, Nicole Javier, and Jamie Therian to speak a little bit more about the powerful landmarks we continue to build.
This building stood at the corner of Patchen and McDonough in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. Prior to being destroyed by fire and then abandoned, it was known as Public School 70. In 2004, it reopened its doors as Excellence Charter School. For our scholars and families, the 5-floor brick building with bright hallways and colorful classrooms will be the first of many landmarks in their academic journeys. One of my students that I've taught the past 2 years is Andre. As a young man growing up in Bed-Stuy, Andre is completely cognizant and aware of his personal reality. In a journaling class activity based on the book Bronx Masquerade, Andre expressed that he could not envision himself in the future and worried that there were too many draws of the streets that may prevent him from even seeing it. He wrote, "These teachers don't understand who I am. They don't see what I see. I won't make it to college, and I'll probably end up in jail." While I was surprised by his candor, I knew that it was an opportunity to talk to Andre about the challenges and paths available to him. He argued that his effort in sixth grade classes and any choices that he makes now could not possibly have any connection to his adult life. He became frustrated attempting to visualize and articulate what was required of a 12-year-old boy trying to defy what the media and the people around him were saying. Moreover, he felt he already knew where he'd end up, so to him, what was really the point of trying? Excellence Boys, in tandem with his family and community, is where Andre looks for clarity. Andre found a passion for math through our newly created Mathletes team and even placed a couple times this year. He has also received the Excellence in Reading Award, much to his surprise, since he sometimes thinks mathematicians don't read. Andre will continue to challenge and ask difficult questions of those around him for his personal understanding. As educators, we do not give our students easy answers. Instead, we cultivate a foundation that provides lifelong scholarship and compassion. It is our responsibility to be vigilant about our students' successes in our classrooms, but most importantly, as they hit multiple landmarks in their academic journey through college. We will have to answer Andre's questions like, why should I even go to college, and how does what I'm doing now really matter? Currently, Andre is studying marine biology through the Center of Talented Youth at Johns Hopkins, where he's doing some of the question answering on his own. The experience, like his time at Excellence, will serve as another landmark for him. For us, believing and following through on our mission means that there is not only one landmark that we are responsible for crafting, but many.
Upside down. Is that okay? Yes, okay. So I was asked to talk about a student or faculty member at Roxbury Prep that served as a landmark for me. And I thought about that, and I think this might be cheating, but my answer was that it had to be Roxbury Prep math. And really that's made of the math students, the math teachers, the math curriculum, and our math department. The Roxbury Prep math department is the only group of people that I know who, as our school space continues to keep getting bigger and bigger in size, we're now on our third expansion, we keep trying to squeeze more and more math teachers into the same small space. So this year we're actually going through our third expansion and we are doubling in space. We are not this large building, we are going from half a hallway to one whole hallway. But we thought it was the greatest time to say, oh, we have 6 people in this one small office. Let's now put all 8 people in this one same small office. To better explain why I chose the math program as my landmark, I should give you a little background of my roles at Roxbury Prep. In 2003, I joined Will Austin, Jen Spencer, and Lauren Harris in the math department, and I taught 8th grade algebra and problem solving. 5 years later, I was presented with 2 opportunities, and I took what I like to call the blue pill, and I became the school's director of development. It's a Matrix reference if you didn't get that. I've since been in the position for 2 years, and next year I am beyond thrilled to say that I will be going back to the classroom as my old post as 8th grade algebra teacher. Kind of thinking about this landmark theme, I was reflecting on my first 5 years of teaching, and I kind of compare it to touring one room of the Taj Mahal. So it's a pretty amazing experience. There's something new around every corner. There's definitely a lot to take in, there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot to love and appreciate. But I really don't think it was until I left teaching that I really was able to kind of step out of my little room at the Taj Mahal and for the first time see it in its kind of grand size and really for what it was. The funny thing was that when I did see the school and all of its working parts, and especially the math department, when I saw it from afar, It really made me realize how important teaching math was to me and how much I wanted to be a part of it again. All the meetings, the lesson sharing, the lesson planning, the informal collaboration, the checking in, the corny math jokes, and we definitely have plenty and we're willing to swap. And of course the students who claimed that they hated math, but then went on to Algebra 2 in their freshman year in high school. The students who were so eager to memorize and recite over 250 digits of pi on March 14th. And the students who came to us counting on their fingers and then left us 2 years later factoring quadratic polynomials and outperforming their peers from the best suburban schools in the state on state exams. These are the memories and the people and the milestones that make Roxbury Prep Math, the math program, a landmark for me. And so even though I left and took a hiatus for a couple years, I think like any good landmark, I was able to find my way back very easily. And so I'm incredibly thankful to be welcomed back so warmly. I'd again like to thank Uncommon for putting all of this together. It's been such an invigorating experience for me to be back with teachers and collaborating, and it really means more to me than I can express in these 2 minutes. And last thing, I'd just like to send out a standing invitation to all of you. If you are in the Boston area, please come by and see our brand new hallway. And if you're a math teacher, please let me know and we will make sure to put you in our math office. Thank you.